Welcome back to Downward Spiritual Guidance. This is part two of our royal story time and our royal prophetic message. Okay, so if you haven't seen part one, you need to see part one because stepping into part two, you're gonna be like, what? Where you left off? What? Go see part one because yeah, go see part one. I'm not even gonna re-explain. So when it comes to, so like I was saying for part one, I had to leave after this person falsely accused me because they like that's dangerous, right? And I was saying that, flaws, everybody's flawed, right? But when it comes to abusive flaws, and I mean, man, terrible, just terrible. Okay. I mean, like we fought. I'm gonna be honest because I I started recording another video, a part two, and I had so much warfare with that video. So I know that that's a part that they don't want me to say. So I'm gonna say it. My enemies, this is what who I'm referring to. We had to fight. And I did not start those fights. I defended myself in those fights, right? Meaning like I didn't throw the first punch, right? Or I didn't throw the first swing. I didn't throw the first choke. I didn't throw the first punch. But we do that, right? And so when it came to, yes, the police were involved, full transparency. In fact, the police were involved twice. The first time, they took pictures of the both of us. Yes. All right, so full transparency, okay? And we were okay. The cops basically said, they reasoned with the situation after they heard the whole story, right? The second time, so the first time she told the truth, the second time she didn't. She lied to the cops. And I guess the cops believed her. And yeah, so she falsely accused me and had me wrongfully imprisoned. Okay? Spiritually. Yup. And so, like, after that point, mind you, because like I said in the first one, I had left for what was supposed to be 3 weeks, 2 months. When I came back, and I came back to our place, like on Martin Luther King Day to be exact. Okay? Was getting some fresh groceries and all the rest of that stuff. And no, she didn't know I was coming back because I mean it's my place and I'm paying as well, right? I'm paying half of the rent, just like I'm paying over half of the rent, just like you're paying half of the rent, right? When I got back, tell me why my stuff was stolen. I couldn't find it. And granted, I ain't talked to her in that 2 months to my period. You may not understand. You may not have known if I was coming back or not, but who told you to throw my stuff away? Right? And so, who told you to do whatever you did with it? Right? And so at that point, what I didn't know is that she had already lied to a lot of people about my character, right? So again, swapping stories, telling people that what I did is what she actually did, and telling people what she did is the part that I played. No, that wasn't the truth. Okay. So for my FBI agents, my good ones on the divine headquarters side, this is my side of the story. Because everybody's been hearing the other side, okay? But also, too, I represent as well the collective conscious and a lot of stuff that's been happening in the collective conscious, particularly the royal empire leadership collective conscious, okay? And some other parts are going to tie into other people as well. Well, this person started to do come to me spells, black magic, started to pay people to do hexes, curses, and all the rest of that to try to stop me. Okay? Now, mind you, like I said before, we're both spiritual, so we both had knowledge about the Akashic records, tarot readings, receiving channeled messages and downloads, and so on and so forth. Right? Now, to be very honest, was she into more spirituality, the channel messages part, and all the rest of that before I got into it? Yes. But by the time we came on each other's paths, like we were both spiritual. The only thing that I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge of at that time was the Akashic records. But everything else spiritual I already knew about, right? But post her, right? Like during our time, during the time of us living together, I was already doing readings. I had started my business. She had started her business. Mind you, we have two different business. They're both spiritual businesses, okay? Because we're both spiritual and we're both something else as well that I'm not gonna name. We're in the same industries, plural, okay? And so with that being said, a lot of people look up to her, but a lot of people don't know the shady stuff that she does behind the scene, because I'm gonna be honest, she is fine as fuck. Okay? She looks good. But she's shitty on the inside. Okay, I'm gonna be very honest. And hopefully that is not for the rest of her life. Hopefully she will heal. But I'm just getting out the truth. Because this girl, he or him or them, they, I am respectful of people's pronouns. I don't know what they are now. So I'm telling you, they would ask you when I moved and all the rest of this stuff, honey, I was finding out different things. At first I was wondering what was going on. And then, like, I found out she'd been astral traveling to me, you know. And then when I got hooked on, like, when I got, like, hip to her, like, astral traveling and stuff like that, she started cloaking herself under other people's energies. So I wouldn't be able to detect that it was her hiding and lingering in the shadows behind the veil, right? Well, my spirit team would alert me, but she started to try to get over on them by cloaking herself in other people's energy. And because she lied to people about the role that she played, she was able to play on a lot of people's heartstrings, okay? Now, why is this story relevant? It's because a lot of you guys that's going to be watching, you are also dealing with a partnership that was similar, okay? And for reasons. Keep going. Let's keep going. So then, like, no, she didn't stop, right? She didn't stop. She kept being relentless and relentless and relentless. Kept asking other people to do stuff for her. Keep asking other people to put hexes and, you know, so on and so forth. And then when you get a group of people to do stuff for you and you're working together and you're doing black magic, what is that? A come-in, right? And she actually, so I'm a light worker and she's a dark worker, right? So like, for example, you would be the one, if you wanted somebody to do a love spell on your person, you would go to my roommate. If you wanted somebody to put a hex on somebody, you would go to my roommate. If you wanted somebody to get some death magic sent to them, or, you know, whatever, you would go to her. Now, at the time, did I know that she was doing all that? No, I didn't know. Did I know that she was into spirituality and manifestations and so on and so forth? Yes. But I didn't know the degree, because around me, she wasn't doing that stuff, or at least not in front of me. Okay? Now, so you come to me, you're not going to get no love spell. You're not going to get a hex. You're not going to get a curse. Although I have knowledge of how to do those things, I don't do those things. Right? If you want to be cleansed from hexes and curses, I'm your person, right? If you want to gain a closer relationship with God, right, for redemption, I'm your person, right? I am an ordained minister, for those that don't know, okay? And more. So, you know, if you want, you know, cleansings, clearings, and all the rest of that stuff, without having to worry about, oh, is this practitioner giving me false dark codes, or are they da-da-da-da-da-da in my records? Or no, because I'm a light worker, she's a dark worker, or they're a dark worker, right? But I didn't know that at first, okay? And so then I found out she had been going to practitioners. Oh, and mind you, she wasn't the only one that was putting stuff on me. There's been multiple couples that's been putting stuff on me at the same exact time. And there's been people that has been putting stuff on me since I was in, like, a decade or so ago. And so I'm going to get into that later. So I found out that this person had a sex addiction. Okay? And I found out that they have been stealing from me spiritually. I found out that they had been trying to siphon my destiny and destiny swap. I found out that was a lot. They found out about my divine inheritance. Okay, and mind you, this person at the time knew a little bit more spiritually at the time, because I didn't know then what I know now. So you want to know what that's like? That's like a person who's a baby or a kid, and here's this adult that's coming, and they know what sex is, but the child doesn't. But it's up to the adult that has the knowledge, right, to have the integrity and the morality. And at the time when we first started being sexually involved, because that's the method that she was using sex magic in the physical, right? And unbeknownst to me, she had been doing this to other people that she been with. See, what they do is they have sex with you because sex is the most potent energy exchange. And mind you, this person that I'm referring to had a horrible childhood. And she had been treating people very horrible almost all her life. But by the time we linked up, God was giving her and her bloodline redemption. She was supposed to transmute the generational curses, and she had started to. I can say that. But somewhere along that journey, she chose the wrong, she flipped. She chose the wrong side. She chose another situation. Hey, free will, that's what you decided to do. But don't say anything when you find out the grass isn't green on the other side because you wanted to be shallow. And think with yo, and I think with yo. And so with that being said, this person has done lots of things. So this person basically, they astrally travel to me and they rape and molest me spiritually. They've gotten, and so what I found out is that they started a spiritual sex business where they would lease my body out to whatever demon that approached them because, again, I didn't know that this is what was going on. Okay? So I'm praying to God, God, why am I getting raped and molested? Why am I getting raped and molested? Why am I getting raped and molested spiritually? I'm going to my practitioner and all of this stuff is coming up, okay? I got the recordings and I got the proof. All this stuff is coming up and she's saying, okay, these entities are working through these people, right? God is having to clear different implants, rape implants. He's having to close different lifetime of programs. They was using a parallel life and other different parts of my lifetimes as portals to come and have access to me. We had to get those closed. So the point of you also listening to this story is so you can hear what some of you may have to start doing if you've been being horribly spiritually attacked wrongfully. I found out that this person had spiritual knowledge of my divine inheritance and was trying to bind themselves to me so that they wouldn't have to live a life of poverty again because that was their trauma, a part of their childhood trauma that they never healed. And instead of doing the healing work and planting the good seeds to attract the blessings on their own, what I found out is that what they did to me, they did to their other lovers and friends and then discarded them. But of course, when you do that, why would you be upfront about that with somebody that you are trying to make your next victim or that you're trying to plot and scheme on? And then, why would you really say it when you accidentally fall in love with them or you accidentally really like that? You really are dope, right? And then why would you really say that when the person stops being your friend because you really are shady, shiesty, and shallow, and the person was able to see it? And so, therefore, right, she wasn't getting access to my energy anymore. So, well, this person has a history of being sexually abused and they never healed that. So she takes out her abuse on other people, okay? Because in that case, they were stealing her energy as a kid, unfortunately. And I feel like the caregiver of hers, Judgment Day is coming, okay? Because it's why your child is acting the way that she acted. But at the same time, when you become an adult, you're responsible for your own healing. But when your child came to you and told you these things, you should have did something about it. Even if you didn't believe it, you could have put a lock on the door. You could have put a camera in the room. You could have provided something else to make your baby feel safe so she wouldn't have had to be harmed as many times and as long. So the same thing that happened in her childhood, she's been reenacting that same hurt to other people, other people, other people. So she's been stealing other people's money, like through sex and other means of energy exchanges. Okay, so what do I mean by that? And the reason why I'm saying this is what she's been doing is because if you're watching this, you're connected to someone who's been doing this to you, or you doing this to someone. Okay, and this isn't your first lifetime with them. Okay. This isn't your first lifetime with them. All right. So you need to get your shit back, is what I'm saying. You need to get your shit back. All right. So how can a person, so what happens during this process? The person who's sucking your energy to use for themselves, they're cloaking themselves underneath your energy to pose themselves as you, because they can't be in your skin. But I'm sure if they could, they would. And energy doesn't just go away, it transforms, right? So what happens to their energy? They're bad juju, right? Because again, nobody's perfect, but you've planted more good seeds than not. They've planted more bad seeds than good, right? And so their energy then gets cloaked onto you. So it's kind of like a Freaky Friday type of thing, if you will, to give like a physical example. So then when you're going about life, as above, so below, their energy you're cloaked in their energy unbeknownst to you, and all that stuff is getting in your auric field. So then you're attracting the things that really they're supposed to be dealing with and paying back, right? And then they're over here cloaked in your energy and getting your opportunities and things that's supposed to be coming to you to get yourself together because you planted the good seeds. You see, dark witches and dark warlocks, dark high priestesses, whatever you want to call them, they do this shit so that they don't have to do and put in the healing work. They're still able to work for Lucifer, and they're still able to live a luxurious life off of somebody else's nine, because they don't have the spiritual currency to attract the blessings on their own. And Lucifer don't get no blessings. The only way Lucifer is able to give his quote-unquote kids stuff to keep doing stuff for him is because he has to steal it from God's kids who God bestows the blessing in. Now you like them apples. Stay tuned for part 3.